Question number 41 on the reading portion of College Board's Test 5. Data presented in the figure, so this is with the graph of this after the passage. Data presented in the figure most directly supports which idea from the passage? Okay, so there's a lot of things that happen in the passage. Let's just read the quotes, or the answer choice, and see if that's what the passage says and that's what the graph says as well. The mean score of artificially downvoted comments is similar to that of the control. The mean score of artificially downvoted comments. Well, remember, this is about artificially upvoted comments only, the graph. Artificially upvoted comments versus control comments. We never once talk about downvoted comments, so it can't be A. Because we don't know what the mean score of artificially downvoted comments is to the mean. That might have been said in the passage, that there was no difference, but we don't know that based on the graph because we don't have that information. What about B? The patterns observed in the experiment suggest that people are suspicious of negative social influence. Again, we never talk about negative social influence. We only talk about upvoted comments, artificially upvoted comments. So once again, B is trying to be misleading. They're trying to just say information that was just not true in the graph. They do this all the time. Make sure that it's said not only in the passage, but more importantly, I think it's easier to find out whether or not it's being said in the graph, because the graph is very cut and dry. There's no paragraphs, there's no nuance to the argument. It tells you exactly what it's measuring. Realize when they're trying to make you believe something that just wasn't said. What about C? The data in the figure most directly supports which idea? The positive bias observed in users in news sites may not apply to human behavior in other contexts. What? Okay, this is an answer I don't understand. Let's read it again. The positive bias observed in users of the news sites may not apply to human behavior in other contexts. I don't know what other context means, because this graph is talking about artificially upvoted comments from a website that has these categories of news. So I don't understand how we possibly can say that the positive bias may not apply in other human behavior. Like, this might be true. This is, I think, a really good bad answer. Because that C might be true, and it probably is true. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but we don't know that. Because our universe currently is limited to news sites and whether or not we artificially upvote the comments and what happens when we artificially upvote the comments. So it's a very narrow universe that we're working in here that we can talk about. And I don't think we can say and generalize to this human behavior, this broad, complex understanding of human behavior and say, yeah, it may not apply. Maybe it will. For all we know, we are herd animals, so we're going to be herd-like as well in a lot of other things. May not apply? Yeah, I don't know. I can't answer that. Let's leave it. What about D? Data presented in the figure most directly supports which idea from the passage? And I guess furthermore, we don't talk about other human behavior, or that other human behavior does not apply to this experiment in the passage. We should be clear about that. Because the question is asking a very particular thing. Which idea from the passage, supported by the figure? D, the type of story being commented on has an impact on the degree to which people can be influenced. Yes. Because doesn't this talk about the different categories of news and the different ways that people are influenced? That is true in the graph. And what does Duncan Watts say? He says that the category of news item in the experiment has a strong effect on how many people could be manipulated. So I like that. This is line 76, 77, 78. The category of news has a strong effect on how people are manipulated. The category, business, culture, politics, information, fun, has an effect on how people are manipulated. So yes, the type of story being commented on has an impact on the degree to which people are influenced. That is absolutely true. Stick to the universe of what we're talking about. Be confident that the only things that can be the answer are the things that are pertaining to this graph, which are artificially upvoted comments pertaining to news. Anything beyond that in different categories. Anything beyond that, we're just making stuff up. The answer to 41 is going to be D.